Fox News, as always, sticking to the important issues. And Jesse Waters here decided to grill a furry. Yes, you heard that right. A furry.
All right, David, how old are you?
I'm 32.
And what are you supposed to be dressed up as here?
Well, currently, I'm a raccoon.
And why are you dressed up as a raccoon?
Well, isn't it fun?
For you? You tell me.
Oh, for me, absolutely. I'm hoping it's fun for everyone around me. The joy of bringing smiles to everyone's face is really the only reason that I like to do this. Getting smiles and bringing people happiness in all sorts of ways. The furries, I know specifically, are great at art and dance and theatrical performance.
Let me just pause here to give you a little bit of the backstory. So Ron DeSantis, of course, has been cracking down on trans people. He's been cracking down on drag shows. And basically, as an unintended consequence of one of those laws, it has now banned young people from going to any sort of furry event. Why? Because the argument from the right is this stuff is like inherently sexual. Look, is it possible that in some instances, in some circumstances, this is sort of like a fetish thing for some people? Of course. But that doesn't mean that, every furry event is sexual by its nature? That's just not true, right? That's not true. DeSantis effectively banned this. And of course, his sycophants on Fox News are going to rush out there to defend him. Oh, no, what he's doing is really smart, bro. Focusing on the serious issues, like adults wearing costumes.
Well, I mean, you're also great at spankings. Did you see the video we just played? What's going on with the spankings at the furry conventions?
This is so disingenuous. He took a video of somebody dressed as a furry getting spanked, being hit with a paddle like once. And his extrapolation from that is everything, it's all sexual. Any event with furries is 100% sexual. That's his takeaway from it. It's just dishonest.
There's a popular restaurant called the Habra House. And this is a restaurant that is pretty close to one of the conventions that we set up every year. And at the Habra House, it's customary in Germanic tradition to, I guess, slap the asses of all of the patrons. Okay. I don't know why.
I didn't know the German.
That's kind of a ridiculous response, too. Just make the argument I made, which is, no, furry stuff is not inherently sexual in all circumstances. There are plenty of kid-friendly furry events. Just make that point. That's the point.
So why do you want kids around people dressed up as squirrels getting spanked?
Me, personally, I don't.
Exactly. He doesn't. No normal person does. It's just, again, total red herring. Effectively, kids are banned from all these events, even if they're not adult-themed. This is the unintended consequences. It's like with drag shows, right? The assumption is 100% of them are sexual. Yeah, but they're not. But that's not true. So, should kids stay away from adult-themed things? Absolutely. But if it's not adult-themed, it's, to steal an old phrase from Obama, which I think is perfect in this scenario, don't use a hatchet when you should be using a scalpel. Right?
Definitely an adult-only environment for that. The furry conventions themselves don't have anything to do with that, though. The furry conventions themselves are really about community and bringing people together. You know, a lot of us, we're not so socially, it's a little bit tough.
Okay.
You know, it's easy to make fun of furries.
Oh, that's actually kind of adorable, right? He's like, a lot of us furries are socially awkward, but this is how we like to get together and find community, is we dress up as furries, and then we meet each other, and everybody's, like, nice to each other. Come on, man. This is the issue that the right is, like, crusading on. Gotta crack down on these evil furries, bro. DeSantis, go give people health care. By the way, we talked about this a while ago, but it should be reiterated. Hundreds of thousands of Floridians lost health care because DeSantis rejected the Medicaid money. That's what you should be focused on. Get people health care. Get people higher wages. No, instead, he's waging a war on the furry community.
Why are you upset that kids are not allowed to be at the furry convention?
Well, me personally, I think that it is a great way to include everyone, no matter, you know, what their age. It's nothing. There's nothing inherently sexual about these conventions. You have panels that teach you how to create costumes or dance or, you know, we have variety shows and all kinds of stuff, but it's not sexual. It has nothing to do with that.
Okay, you say it's not sexual. That's fine. We have video that proves otherwise. But if, like, the governor said you can't have kids at the convention, why wouldn't you just say, okay, it's too bad, move on? Why are you and your crew so insistent on having the kids there?
So I don't think that there's a huge backlash, but, I mean, I could be wrong. There's, from my understanding, it is, from my understanding, the convention just wants to avoid any legal gray areas that might be present in the law.
There is no massive backlash to it. They're just afraid of the legal gray areas. They don't want to be prosecuted at one of these furry things if kids are there. And so they're like, okay, there we go. No kids. Let's, you know, we'll comply. So he's like, his premise is wrong. His assumption is wrong. But of course, the whole purpose of the segment, Jesse Waters is great at this, is it's like, bring somebody on and just try to make a mockery, right? And he did this with, what was it, the Reddit anti-work page or something? And the guy was a terrible representative of that sort of a position. And so it became, you know, sort of fodder to beat up on these people. It's very straw man-y. Bring on, like, the worst representative of one of these communities and then beat him up. Now, to be fair, this guy's, I think he's actually doing a half-decent job where he's being very clear and saying, no, adult-themed things are just for adults, but it's not like every furry convention is a sexual thing. So, yeah, that's effectively why kids should be allowed. I mean, look, it's like, remember back in the day, when I was a kid, you go to McDonald's, and there would be somebody there sometimes dressed as Ronald McDonald on one of the days, and they would give, like, face paint to the kids and stuff. And if, like, that was banned because it's drag or because it's a furry or whatever, just an adult dressed as something else, if you disagree with that and you speak about it, is this a fair reaction? Is it a fair reaction to be like, well, why do you care? Why are you so insistent that it not be banned? Because, like, let the kids have fun, right? This is harmless. This is harmless. And it's like, you can't do something that's kind of authoritarian and then be like, well, why do you disagree? I disagree because it's authoritarian, of course. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but then again, you're not focusing on the big deals. You're not focusing on getting people healthcare and higher wages. Anyway, we don't have to go much further through this. You guys get the gist of it, but this is where Fox News is at, man. It's culture war 24/7. It's go after trans people, go after gay people, go after furries, go after drag shows. They're leaning into this, even though they just got draxed in the last midterm. Why? They focused a lot on trans people in the midterms. There was dozens of ads going after trans people in the midterms. They did this crime fear-mongering. Well, that didn't come to fruition either. Turns out you guys were viewed as the extreme ones because you have gone full authoritarian on issues like abortion. And you're trying to deflect by going, no, trans people, no, furries. It's not working.
We're misunderstood as a group, and it's very easy to vilify us.
Okay. Do you blame yourself at all for being misunderstood? I mean, you're the one dressed up as a raccoon.
Oh, absolutely. I think that this is absolutely crazy and weird and fun. And that's the point. I think, you know, it's supposed to gain attention. I like being on stage. I like performing as a character. I like bringing joy to people.
Okay.
That's why I do it.
If I came to one of your
conventions,
conventions, David, or maybe we sent Johnny to the convention, what should we dress up as?
You can dress up however you want. We've had Jack Sparrows show up. We've had all kinds of different animals. What kind of animal do you think you would be?
Probably a dinosaur.
Jesse, you answered that question kind of quickly, didn't you? It's almost like you thought about this before, right? Is he secretly like, God, I wish I could do that? You can't help but like this guy who's being interviewed, right? Because he's just like, yeah, I know this is weird. Yeah, I know it's kind of goofy, but I like dressing up like it, and I like making people happy, and so that's why I do it. God bless, man. We used to call this freedom. This used to be called freedom back in the day, but DeSantis is trying to stop it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.